What is up, everyone? Today we are going through 50 Klaviyo email marketing campaigns. These are ideas for newsletters and campaigns that you can send basically anytime throughout the year. They're evergreen and they don't use discounts, promotions, or any kind of sales, anything like that. Now, I speak to a lot of brands in the agency doing coaching, doing consulting, and occasionally people that buy my Klaviyo course. Something that always comes up is how do we design a balanced email calendar with a lot of variety where we're not pushing discounts all the time, we're not being overly salesy, and we're not just sending the same old stuff every week. How do we make our calendar interesting with unique ideas? So I made this swipe file that I'm going to give you. We're going to go through it right now. It has 50 email campaign ideas for Klaviyo that you can basically use at any time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through 10 I think are pretty interesting, and then I'm going to tell you where to get the document for the rest, because I'm not going to walk through all 50 right now. You'll get all of the campaigns, the subject lines, the preview text, everything in one place in like a little Notion doc that you can just use as you want, absolutely no cost, of course. So let's get into it and look at 10 of these campaigns. And if you want help with anything Klaviyo related, reach out to me, link in the description, agency services, one-on-one coaching and consulting, and a very comprehensive Klaviyo course as well. The first campaign we're going to look at is this one, which is a cool example of taking a negative review and spinning it into something positive. Now, any brand that has more than a couple hundred reviews probably get a few weird ones, people that just weren't a good fit for your product. They didn't really know what it was. They didn't really understand what they were buying. Sometimes they just leave kind of strange reviews, and sometimes you can turn them into something that's a little bit funny. In this case, the reason for giving a 1 star was actually something that most customers would consider to be a benefit for this product. So the brand took it as an opportunity to make a campaign about it and highlight that this is their best selling product. And they turned it into a bit of a joke, and it worked out pretty well. You can do this in pretty much any market. If you have a whole bunch of reviews, I'm sure you have a few weird ones in there. And if it's done tastefully, it can work pretty well. Super quick to put together. The next up is this one from Made By skincare brand. And they are calling out a problem that their customers have either experienced in the past or maybe experiencing right now. And they're basically just explaining like, hey, this weird thing, this issue that you have, this is exactly why it happens. This is what causes it. And here's some solutions, and that may or may not include recommending their product. So here we have a skincare brand. They're talking about these like bumps that people get on their forehead, or just like bumpy skin or whatever, saying, look, this is exactly what causes it. This is why you have it. And they can link in their products and recommend them if they've got certain items that would be a good fit for these people. Pretty much any market that you're in, there's going to be some kind of problem that people run into. So you can often create campaigns like this that are mostly educational. You know, this one's like fairly text-based and good relationship builder, builds a little bit of goodwill, and you can get some very kind of natural casual product recommendations in there as well. And you know, markets will generally have hundreds of different problems that people have that you can turn into campaigns like this. The next one is a pretty unique one that I hadn't actually seen before I put this document together. And this brand is actually explaining why they named their products in a specific way. So if your products have kind of unique names and you have some real reasons why you called them, what you ended up deciding on for the name, then you can make a campaign around it. This brand has done pretty well. It looks great. It reads well. It's interesting to their customers. It's a relationship builder. Works well in like premium markets, or if you have product names that kind of highlight certain benefits or how you differentiate yourselves from your competition, can be a great way to subtly sell your products. This is something you can do in a lot of markets. Next up is 5 steps to achieve some kind of desired result that your market wants. Okay, so we have a skincare brand, and it's basically 5 steps to youthful skin. It's like a mini blog post or a mini advertorial in an email. Some super kind of like really brief but useful tips that people can take away and say, okay, I might learn something, or might just reinforce something that they already know to be true, which is also good. And you can obviously put product recommendations in here as well. These guys have gone pretty heavy. They've made a product recommendation with every single kind of step. You might want to be a little bit more subtle, but putting together these mini guides that are mostly educational in nature are pretty good, and again, can be done in most markets. You can do this, you know, all kinds of times. You could do this once a month, and then you have a dozen campaigns right there for your annual calendar. This one is cool. I hadn't seen this before until very recently. The angle of this campaign is very different. It's basically if our products could talk, this is what they would say, or this is how they would describe themselves, or this is like a quote from this product. And this was actually a really long email. It's 10 products. I only included the first 3 because the file was just huge in terms of the length. But they've essentially gone through a bunch of their products and they've come up with funny things that their products might say if they could sell. And you can make these about the benefits. You can go pure humor, or this is just something completely different. I've never seen a brand do this. So pretty good idea. This is a higher end brand. So yeah, I think a lot of brands could use something like this. This was the first example I'd ever seen of this one. Next up, we have the Random Appreciation Day. So this is a pet care brand, or a cat brand specifically, and they built a campaign around something called Ginger Cat Appreciation Day, which I didn't actually look this up. This may or may not be real. There are hundreds of these random appreciation days throughout the year for all kinds of things you never would have thought of. You can Google and get a list of them. Easy thing to build campaigns around. Or you can just build your own. You can say, we are dedicating this day, the 12th of October, whatever day, for whatever reason, and we're building a campaign around it, and it's either funny, or you can build a promotion around it if you want. But it's just something that puts you in touch with your market. It's kind of a little inside joke that only people in your niche would understand. And again, it could be a real day, it could be one that you make up. But if you Google and have a look for these lists of like random holidays that aren't really holidays, but they're just random days throughout the year that people celebrate certain things, there are a lot of them, like hundreds. So you can easily pick out a handful of those that you can use throughout the year, and that might give you a new campaign or a couple of campaigns every quarter. This one I really like. This is a zero-party data quiz-based campaign. So it is a product recommendation campaign where the brand is emailing their current list, and they are basically saying, take this short quiz and we will tell you which of our hair products is best for your specific hair based on the questions that you answer in this short quiz. So a lot of people use these for lead gen. I love using quizzes as list builders with product recommendations on the back end with separate welcome sequences and things like that. But this is something they have sent to their existing list to learn more about their existing customers. Even if you're doing quiz and survey campaigns on the front end, there's probably still loads of people, thousands of people, tens or hundreds of thousands of people in some cases in your list that you don't know anything about in terms of their product preferences. Send them to a quiz, give them something fun to go through, give them an exclusive offer after they've taken the quiz if you like. You don't have to sell the offer as a reason to take the quiz. And it gives you all kinds of really detailed segments where you know what products you want to recommend to people or what they're interested in and things like that. This goes to a specific quiz landing page. It's very well designed. And this can work in all kinds of markets. It's great for health, beauty, supplements, anything like that. So this is definitely the kind of campaign that I encourage most brands to try and build if they can do so. Okay, the Mythbuster. This is a classic. You can basically use this in any market. You can do this a few times a year. It's great to establish trust and educate your customers a little. So in this case, we have a beauty brand talking about a myth around hyperpigmentation, which is something that goes on with your skin or whatever. I should probably read this email because I obviously don't know what it is. Educational, you can recommend your products, and it's a tried and true evergreen tactic that you can use in basically any market. It can be more on the educational side. It can be super salesy or promotional, depending on how you want to do it. You see a lot of higher end brands using myth busting campaigns, and it can be a great way to differentiate yourself as well. If your products have certain ingredients or attributes that are maybe a little bit kind of against the norm, and most people wouldn't actually realize why they're good or why they're better than other options and things like that. Next up is a weekly kind of magazine style newsletter that Perfect Keto sends. This is one of my favorite brands to follow in terms of email strategy. Haven't managed to work with them yet, but maybe one day. Basically, what they do is they send a weekly email out, and it's not really a sales email at all. It's almost just like a weekly newsletter about, hey, here's everything that happened this week, or a collection of resources that we found this week that would be interesting to people that are into keto. They have recipes, they have new things that have been coming out in like health research or whatever, product announcements or things like that, just random tips and articles, but it's mainly educational, it's mainly news-based, and it's just positioning themselves their brand as like a news or education resource where people actually get this thing every week. They can expect it. And you can see it's branded as them, but it's branded as something else. The Dish, which is the name of like this weekly newsletter. It's the branding on Perfect Keto is like secondary, and they're saying, hey, this is the Dish. This is your weekly email that you get every week that you enjoy because it's non-promotional and it gives you tons of cool resources and education. Again, you can do this in pretty much any market. You can link to products, you can link to articles that then link to products, etc. But it's very non-salesy. And I'd imagine that the people that open this every week, if you had a segment of them, I'd imagine they'd be very engaged and they would be very high quality prospects or customers. Okay, last one we're going to look at in this email is calling out competitors or things that go on in your market where, you know, people are generally aware that maybe there's some like shady behavior going on or whatever. So this is a CBD market. And I think most people that are into CBD know that there are a lot of companies out there where the products are maybe not that high quality. Maybe does the bottle actually contain what it says it contains? Is the potency what they claim? Are there issues with quality and things like that? So this brand is basically playing on those curiosities. They're not calling anybody out specifically. They are just highlighting things that everybody knows to be the case in their market. They're saying, look, other products, we're not saying who, we don't know for sure, but these are issues that happen in our market, and maybe here's some dangers. Here's why you wouldn't want to buy the wrong brand by mistake. And we can guarantee that none of these issues happen with our product. We have all these kind of verifications and third-party testing and whatever. Obviously, take that and apply it to your market as necessary. This can be a good one. It's basically like a USP email or a differentiator email, talking about these mysterious kind of like bad actors in your market without saying who they are, and you are just contrasting them to yourself, who hopefully the brand would be a beacon of quality and not suffer from any of these issues. So this is a great strategy that you can use in a lot of markets. And for the rest of the campaigns, this is the Notion doc that I've linked below. You can get it for free. It has all the campaigns I just went over plus 40 more. If we click into each one, like here's the CBD one I just looked into. I've categorized them. I've said the angle of the campaign, like what is the actual messaging that they're using? What is the strategy? We've got the subject line, we've got the preview text, we've got a little bit of commentary from me, and then we've just got the actual campaign. So you can just use this as a swipe file anytime you need ideas. 50 different ones. I'm actually going to add more as well. But yeah, link in the description for this one. All right, so those are your 50 Klaviyo email marketing campaign ideas. Hope you enjoyed. Reach out to me if you are interested in discussing agency services, one-on-one coaching and consulting for e-commerce email strategy. And I also have a super comprehensive Klaviyo course as well. You can find all that in the description. Ask any questions below. If you have any video requests, let me know, and I will see you in the next one.